In case you didn't know, at the risk of stereotyping people and sounding like a bigot, there are only two types of people in the world. Those who like spicy food and those who don't. I know many Midwesterners don't care for spicy food, or spicy food doesn't care for them. Some do, but a lot don't. So pretend for today that you love spicy food. Okay? Well, since you're a spicy food lover, let me tell you about a dish that you are just going to love. Goulash. Now, I'm not talking about that stuff with the red tomato sauce and elbow noodles. I'm talking about Hungarian goulash. It's made with beef stew meat, chunks of beef, brown gravy, paprika. It has onions and green peppers and served over egg yolks. And the best Hungarian goulash was made by my grandmother. And her best goulash was served over her homemade noodles. I'm really missing that. It was delicious. Like many dishes, goulash has an important ingredient, without which it's not goulash. That important ingredient in my grandmother's goulash was cayenne pepper. Without cayenne pepper, you just wouldn't want to eat the goulash, especially since you are spicy food lovers, right? My father took after my grandmother in many ways, and one way was he was also a good cook. He cooked in the army. He could cook a good Hungarian goulash. He made it the way Grandma made it. However, one time when he was going to make the goulash, he was gathering his spices, and he grabbed cinnamon instead of cayenne pepper. I don't know if you know or not, but there is a difference between cinnamon and cayenne pepper. You can imagine what it would taste like if you were expecting cayenne pepper and you got cinnamon. It was disgusting. It was horrible. We had to throw the whole thing out. What a waste. But without the cayenne pepper, the dish was disgusting. Without cayenne pepper, it was like garbage. Without faith, what Paul is talking about is garbage. Without faith, Paul's talk about weakness, revealing God's power, sounds like garbage, sounds ridiculous. Paul, in his letter to the Corinthians, talks about his revelation of Jesus. He's all excited about it. Paul says to keep him humble, to keep him from his head swelling, to keep him from boasting, God gave him a weakness. Paul asked God, it says 3 times he asked God to relieve him of this weakness. But God said, no, my grace is sufficient for you. For power is made perfect in weakness. So what does Paul do? He brags about his weakness. He boasts about his weakness because in his weakness, the power of Christ dwells in him. Without that important ingredient of faith, what Paul is saying, power made perfect in weakness, it sounds like, without faith, it sounds like that goulash that we threw away. Now today is the 4th of July. Today is the day we celebrate our National Day of Independence, We feel especially independent today, independent from our mask. People today will say the Pledge of Allegiance. They will sing the national anthem. They'll sing God Bless America. It's a day to be proud to be an American. And why are we proud? We are proud because we believe that we are the greatest country on the face of this earth. We are proud because we believe we are the most powerful country in the world. And we have proved it over and over again. We believe that we have the best military, the best training, the best weapons. Some people are not so proud of our military strength, but they can't deny it. They also can't deny the powerful liberties that we have. If you think about it, it's kind of strange, the contrast of what Paul is talking about. Paul is talking about weakness and power. Without faith, we laugh at that. We're offended at that. Power made perfect in weakness? We're America. We're not weak, we're powerful. When Jesus went back to his hometown, he preached in the synagogue. He found no faith. He found no cayenne pepper in the goulash. They greeted him without faith. They were offended at his message. We don't exactly know what his message was, but their response was, who does this guy think he is? This guy's no better than us. Isn't he a carpenter? Aren't those his brothers and his sisters? Where does he get off teaching us? And this is quite a contrast. Remember the last few weeks when we're talking about Jesus' power and authority. Where's that all gone? Last week, the leader of the synagogue asked Jesus to heal his daughter who was dying, and he cured her. Actually, maybe he raised her from the dead. And then along the way, there was a woman there that was sick for 12 years and said, if I could just touch his clothes, I would be healed. And she touched them and she was healed instantly. And then before that, remember Jesus with the disciples out on the boat? And a big storm came up, and the waves are crashing, and the wind, and Jesus calmed it all. But here he is in his own hometown, and he can't get an amen. He can't do any deeds of power. Why? That important ingredient is missing. Without faith, he could do no deeds of power. Now, most of us have grown up in the church. We've heard it all, seen it all before. We know that Christ is present here as he has promised. How important is faith? Is that an important ingredient to you? When you hear the message that Paul says, that power is made perfect in weakness, do you laugh? Are you offended? Or are you just sleeping through this? Going through the motions? Do we come to church because it's just tradition? Because it's a good family activity? Or because, well, we've just always done it? Well, naturally, that's part of it. But is that all? Or do we receive him in faith? Certainly we can't drum up faith within ourselves, and it's a gift. The gift that allows us to cling to God. More important than cayenne pepper in Hungarian goulash, and I can't believe I'm saying that, it's more important, but it is. More important than the cayenne pepper in the goulash faith in Jesus Christ. May you be filled with that all-important ingredient. Filled with faith today, tomorrow, every day. Faith, that all-important ingredient that helps us to cling to the promises we receive through the Word, through baptism, through Holy Communion, like we'll